Hello everyone, and welcome to Shell Point Today for the weekend of October 30th, 31st, and November 1st. On today's show, we'll take the opportunity to laugh at ourselves by showing you some of the outtakes and bloopers from our theatrical promo of the Hoedown that aired all last week. And we'll recap the top stories from this week. Beginning next Tuesday, November 3rd, the Shell Point Photo Gallery will feature photographer and Photo Club president Herb Sklar. A collection of his photographs entitled Still Life with Red Accent will be featured on Tuesdays and Thursdays of November. And Shell Point TV will give you more information about Herb and his exhibit in Dottie Morrison's Gallery Glimpses segment coming later this month. Looking ahead to November 4th of next week, there will be a Do You Know Your Neighbor event focusing on the country of Turkey. Turkey in November, how fitting. You can explore the rich history of the culture of Turkey, the country, not the bird, at this fun social event. If you ever travel to Turkey or are interested in its culture, then come and connect with fellow Shell Point friends and share stories about this exotic country on November 4th in the Social Center at 2:15. Now, if you're a globetrotter who has been to places like Turkey, then chances are you have plenty of pictures to document your travels. Well, there was probably a time in which you broke out the slide projector for a good old-fashioned travelogue. In today's technological age, organizing and displaying your pictures has become easier than ever. Terry Kolath is standing by with resident Russ Kraay to talk about all the things that you can do with pictures in PowerPoint.
Hello, I'm Terry Kolath. I'm here with Russ Kraay of Oakmont, and we're talking about another class he is providing in the Computer College of the Academy this semester. This one is Got Pictures, a great way to show them. Thank you for joining me, Russ.
Thank you, Terry.
This is such a perfect example of what you folks do, is have a background in computers, an understanding of them, and then stretch yourself and learn something new to do with them, and then share it with everybody else.
Well, this is a learning experience for me from some time ago. I knew the basics of PowerPoint, how to put slides together and so forth, but PowerPoint has come a long ways and through the various versions of it, and the current version has some really fabulous techniques that you can use to show, and some of these can be demonstrated. What we have here is an opportunity to spice up your program. I'm sure all of us have been in places where we say, wow, this is really dull. And somebody, after you look at somebody's 100 or so pictures, you think, oh hum. Well, these are ways to spice it up. We can put transitions between the slides so that they come in with something new and fresh. We can add music. We can import videos, import various music, different kinds of music to suit the mood of the slides, and this is just a great way to give a presentation that's got some real zing to it.
It's going to be a fun class. It takes 3 sessions. Tell us what's going to happen. What do you bring to the first class if you're lucky to get into it?
Yeah, you are going to be doing your own PowerPoint during the course of the 3 sessions, and most people have their own pictures that they want to put together anyhow, but if they don't, we have a series of pictures that can be utilized.
To practice.
To
learn the techniques.
Right, to learn the different techniques, and there are many, many techniques, literally thousands of different ways of doing things. And so I think it's going to be just a fun experience, and I think you'll be a lot more professional in your presentations subsequent to the class.
Well, you can sign up at either service desk for Computer College 247. Got Pictures? A great way to show them.
Earlier this week, Shell Point held its signature event featuring a country and western theme. The Hometown Hoedown, as it was called, was a great event of games, music, food, and entertainment. In order to promote the event and have a little fun doing so, Shell Point TV produced a 3-part comedy piece where yours truly falls asleep and dreams of being a cowboy. Now, we spent a lot of time and effort in order to pull off this little endeavor, and it was also accompanied by a lot of goof-ups and laughs. And so we thought we'd share some of them with you on today's show, just like you might find in those special features on a DVD of one of your favorite Hollywood features. Now, we're not kidding ourselves. We know this was no Hollywood feature, which is all the more reason why we had plenty of bloopers.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Well, you're a woman. Well, what are you doing slinking around my camp like this there, woman? You could get yourself shot.
Okay. Don't look at the camera.
Well, I thought we were done.
What's the matter? What's the matter?
All right, we're rolling.
Paper? It's paper.
Okay.
Doesn't like the paper.
Yeah.
My name's Cowboy Dan.
Hi.
Some folks call me the man in black and blue, seeing as I fall off my horse occasionally.
Oh.
So, what's my next line?
Well, I don't know.
Well, those are the only kind of card games we play at Shell Point. They're pretty popular. But I'm gonna do it again. They're pretty popular. They're pretty popular. They're pretty popular. I know, it's like,
She really needs some.
in fact, we've got all sorts of fun and games coming to the hoedown. Shoot.
Well, hey, you come out here. Come here, show yourself. You remember the line? I know you're in there. Well, I heard you coming from miles away. Now, you come out here and show yourself, or I bump your lily-livered, yellow-bellied. Well, Missy, there's a lot of dangerous Christians.
Christians.
A lot of dangerous Christians.
Well, it's dangerous. Like you could get attacked by a rattlesnake or a coyote or a timeshare salesman.
By action.
Coyotes?
That's right, ma'am.
Oh boy.
Oh my!
Where do we go from there? That's right, ma'am. Or one of them Florida Panthers or a timeshare salesman.
Oh no.
I sure wouldn't want something to happen.
Okay. I sure wouldn't want something to happen to a nice little, pretty little filly like you.
Well, that's odded, nodded, nine.
That's awful naughty. Yeah, that's awful. We wouldn't want to see something happen to a pretty little filly like you out here.
Well, that's mighty neighborly of you. I talk like I'm.
And action.
Sorry. Okay. Approve? Are you gonna?
Oh, pretty.
Like,
Stand up there and talk to her.
Cowboy
Got it.
Dan?
Okay.
Action.
Well, I'm glad you approve, ma'am. Well, I'm glad you approve, ma'am.
Can we just do it again?
Well, I'm glad you approve, ma'am.
Approve? That's the best darn chili I've ever had. You could win a prize.
A prize?
Oh, yeah. Forgot
Okay.
my line.
What's that?
Music and the chili cook-off.
The chili cook-off.
Sorry.
Almost.
Sorry.
So close.
Counters and action.
Wait a minute, my rope is all whacked.
Wax
City
rope.
slickers, you
We
think
need
you
a
can come
rope
out here for a week
wrangler.
and get your ropes all the knots out of your rope? That's not right.
All
All right, ready?
Yep, we're still rolling.
Well, I'm glad you approve, ma'am.
Approve? You could put that. You could enter it. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm so excited thinking about that hoedown at Shell Point Ranch on October 27th. Oh, I forgot my line. I can hardly sleep thinking about that hoedown at Shell Point Ranch on October 27th. Oh man, I forgot my line again. I'm so excited, Cowboy Dan, about the hoedown at the Shell Point. What? I can hardly sleep thinking about the hoedown at the Shell Point Ranch on October 27th. Sorry.
No, that was right.
I know, but it was super corny.
Okay.
And my accent didn't come through. I can hardly sleep thinking about that hoedown at Shell Point Ranch on October 27th. That's so dumb.
I know it sounds corny, but
It
we
does.
got
On October 27th, there's gonna be square dancing, barbecue lunch, games and fun, and I need to be a little bit more country with that. On October 27th, there's gonna be square dancing.
What are we gonna do? No, what is it, Seminoles? Man, sakes alive! They're eating up all my good chili. Oh,
Better chili.
I know, I thought he had to say something else. Cowboy Dan, I know you can win with that chili. I just know it.
Not anymore, there's none left.
But I tell you what, we'll wait till sunup. Then we'll go to the next town, and we'll find a general store, and we'll get all your beans and all your ingredients. And we'll make a new batch, and we'll bring it to the hoedown.
Okay. What's the line?
He who learns to laugh at himself shall never lack for entertainment. And now it's time to take a look at today's happenings, Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections.
Hello and welcome to the Happening segment, weekend edition of Shell Point TV. I'm Katelyn Scoy, and I'm going to let you know what's happening Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We start with Friday morning at 8 o'clock with men's match play tennis at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. And the stamp ministry will be at 8:15. They'll be in the stamp room on the island. From 8:30 to 11:30, the Friday marketplace will be in the administration courtyard. And we move to 9 o'clock for canasta and samba. That'll be played in the common second floor lobby of the Woodlands. Men's match play tennis will be at 10 o'clock at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. Inquiring minds want to know in the manatee room on the island at 10:15. Also at 10:15, the Model Yacht Sailing Club will be at the Commons Lake at the Woodlands sailing their boats. We move to Friday afternoon at 12:30. There's Mixed Progressive Bridge in the game room of the Woodlands. And a Health Connections class will occur at 12:45. Zumba Fitness, that'll be in the Health Club on the island. That one is currently full. At 1:15, Advanced Table Tennis will be in the Tarpon room on the island. And the Quilters will be gathering in the Osprey room on the island at 1:15. The model train room will be open Friday from 1:30 to 3:30. That'll be in the train room on the island. And Vespers will be at 1:30 in the community room of the Arbor. Big Euchre will be played at 2 o'clock in the Sable room at the Woodlands. And water volleyball will be at the Life Quest Aquatic Center at 2:15. Our second Vespers is at 2:30 in the community room of King's Crown, followed by 3 o'clock ballroom line dancing for beginners. That's in the Health Club on the island. The final Vespers is at 3:30 at the Springs. At 4:30, there's a dinner outing to the Schnitzel House, leaving at 4:30 from the island, 4:40 Woodlands, and 4:50 Eagles Preserve and Estuary. You do need to sign up for that trip. We round out our Friday with game night at 6:45 in the Resident Activity Center on the island. Here's Saturday. We start at 8 o'clock with pickleball at the pickleball courts on the island. Also at 8 o'clock, round robin doubles tennis will be at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. Men's and women's doubles tennis will be at 9:30 in the Woodlands. And at 9:45, duplicate bridge will be played in the manatee room on the island. We move to Saturday afternoon for 1 o'clock chess in the library lounge in the Resident Activity Center. And table tennis will be available at 1:15 in the Tarpon room on the island, and that's also available all weekend unless it's noted. We round out our Saturday with 3:15 basic line dancing in the Health Club on the island. Then we move to Sunday. We start Sunday morning at 9 o'clock with Christian Life Studies in the game room of the Woodlands and also at the Village Church. At 10:15, the morning worship will be in the Village Church on the island. And if you can't make it down to the church, it's also broadcast live on Shell Point TV, Channel 13. We move all the way to 4:15 on Sunday evening with Latin Size in the Health Club. And we round out our weekend at 6:15 with the evening service at the Village Church. Well, I'm so glad you joined me today. I'll see you right back here tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for Friday and the weekend. At 10 o'clock Friday, we have Coffee with a Neighbor, Feast of Photos, Iceland and Greenland, in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands. Don't forget your ticket. I'd like to tell you about our new classes starting next week. On Monday, November 1st, Got Pictures with Russ Kraay of Oakmont, and Part 4 of the First World War with Seth Mendel of Teledora. On Tuesday, the 2nd of November, we have Russian Zastovo Folk Art Part 3 for those who have studied Russian art with Pat Smelkoff in the past semesters. We have Part 6 of The Story of China with Professor Adrian Keir. And Facebook Basics on the iPad will be taught by Meg Singer of Teledora. Dick Brown will be teaching math in society. And we have a photographic sojourn through Europe using iPad and iPhone with Judith Krug and David Marriott of Eagles Preserve. On Wednesday, Larry Brock of Eagles Preserve brings us Intro to Android tablets and smartphones. We have an internet prep school with Richard Nelson of Lakewood. And on Thursday, we have Academy on the Go, number 4, our overnight educational field trip. This time we're going to the Kennedy Space Center. We have tips for buying new computing equipment with Jim Plummer of Parkwood. And we have a special program on identity theft and investment fraud we're holding in the church auditorium. Lee County Sheriff Mike Scott will launch this discussion, and we have more presenters.
Menus for your weekend. On Friday, October 30th, the Crystal Room platter features a stuffed sole with lemon with angel hair pasta and broccoli. The soup is corn chowder. The Allen Cafe on Friday for lunch has a grilled meatloaf sandwich on rye with fries for $7.75. And at dinner, it's Chef's Choice at $8.75. On Friday in the Palm Grill, you might have a Spanish rice with chicken and shrimp for $15.95 or a stuffed veal cutlet at $16.95. The Crystal Room is closed on Saturday. On Saturday in the Island Cafe, lunch features an Italian sausage sub with peppers and onions with onion rings for $7.75. At dinner, it's chicken marsala with scalloped potatoes and mixed vegetables for $8.75. And Saturday in the Palm Grill means it's time for prime rib at $20.95. On Sunday, the Crystal Room features its Sunday brunch for $17.50. And the Island Cafe for lunch will have a hamburger patty with fresh fruit, cottage cheese, and sliced tomato for $7.75. And at dinner time, it's Chef's Choice for $8.75. Sunday, the Palm Grill is closed. All menus are available 24 hours a day at shellpoint.net.
Hi, Randy Woods. I'm here with Pastor Andy as we look forward to, here it is, the first Sunday of November.
Amazing.
As we fall behind.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's right. We get a little extra sleep this time of the year.
We fall behind only to get ahead because, as you know, it is the season and things are happening, and we have the opportunity once again to gather as a church and community to worship God this Sunday in our Sunday worship services. Tell us what's going on this Sunday. This is November 1st.
That's right. And so the first Sunday of the month, we normally have the Lord's Supper, the communion service. And we'll do that again, and especially this Sunday, we're going to actually have a message that's devoted to it. Okay. So we're going to just really focus on what the significance was for the death of Christ and how important it is for us as a community of faith to really, with regularity, reflect on what Christ has done for us. And we're told to do that in Scripture, and so we're going to do it. We're going to take the time to meditate on the significance in and of itself. Yep.
Well, as we do that, thinking of the communion service, Charles Wesley's hymn, "And Can It Be That Thou, My God, Would Die for Me." Right. Choir's going to sing that anthem. It's a great text and music, and Tom Feke's done an arrangement of it that's a cappella, so the choir will be singing that. But that, too, gives us a further illustration in that text of what we celebrate in the Lord's Supper during communion. We look forward to doing that. And then Sunday evening, we're at 6:15 as we gather for worship, continuing in a study series that we're starting here. Tell us about that for the evening service.
Yeah, actually, we've been in it for a good while. It's Who is God, and it's really about the nature and character of God. And, we've been through a lot so far. As a matter of fact, we've had probably about 24 sessions on this because God is a big God, and we have to have time to process all that He is. And so we've looked at some of the attributes that define Him apart from any relationship with His moral creatures, so sort of what we call the incommunicable attributes. And then we've looked at the attributes that He shares with us, the communicable attributes. And we've looked at so many of those and sort of grouped them into categories. We've looked at some of the mental attributes like knowledge and wisdom. We've looked at some of the attributes that concern His character, like His goodness or His love, those kinds of things, and many of those. We've looked at His attributes of purpose, like His will and His power. And so, but you can't really grasp the nature and character of God to any degree without understanding something about the Trinity.
Right. Now, you started some of that last week talking about the glory of God, but this is going to be kind of a three-part You're talking about in the Trinity, that's starting tonight on.
I can't tell you how many parts there'll be, but there'll be certainly more than one, because it's. I think there's a great significance for what the Scripture teaches about the Trinity, because the Scripture really is quite clear that God is one, but that God is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And so while we have a hard time getting our mind around that, that still is the clear teaching of Scripture. But the significance of that in terms of the relationship within the Godhead himself is important, and what significance that has for us as relational beings. It's a rich topic, and I think it's one of the things that is the glory of Christianity.
And I assume that in some way we will follow a format of study and interaction with the congregation through the scripture readings and looking at biblical truth to support these various elements.
That's exactly right. I've been having a lot of fun. I trust the congregation is too, as we've met in a little different kind of context on Sunday evenings to, make some connections with folks who are there in the audience, and we'll continue to do that.
The participation, I think, has been very, very good. So I invite you to come and share with us as we participate together. As we share together in worship Sunday morning at 10:15 and Sunday night at 6:15, remind you this weekend as well, it's not too late to pick up a shoebox for Operation Christmas Child. Right. We still have a few of those left, and make them available, and you can fill those with gifts so that they can be shared with children around the world. So we look forward to the service this Sunday and trust that you'll join us as we worship together.
And now let's take a look at the top stories from this week. Born and raised in the Ozark Mountains, Howard Wilson grew up on a farm by the river, where Native American Indians tribes hunted and fished many years earlier. Howard collected many arrowheads in that region and developed a love for archery that spawned the development of the Black Widow bow by he and his uncles. Earlier this week, we brought you the story of Howard and his life of archery and music.
I was born and raised in the Ozark Mountains in southern Missouri, and I was raised on a little farm about 40 acres on the Sauk River, and that's spelled S-A-C, and it's actually a derivative of an Indian tribe's name called the Sauk, which is S-A-U-K, but due to the translations of it, it became Sauk, S-A-C. So our farm bordered that river, and that river area was a habitat, you might say, for a lot of different Indian tribes. And because the hunting and fishing there was good, and a mild enough climate that they could grow some crops. So I lived there on the farm until I was a teenager, and then we moved to town and went to high school there, and graduated from high school, and World War II was still going on. I decided to enlist in the Army Air Corps, and that worked out well for me. They sent me to Dallas Aviation School, Boeing Aviation School, and those events, those experiences, you might say, changed my life. They provided a pathway for my life. I had uncles who were in the entertainment business, and they would, well, when I was about 8 years old, they would have me come down to the studio and sing for them, a little bit. The radio was the big thing back in those days. So after the war, well, then we got together and made it a quartet. We made a number of recordings, and Norman played the fiddle, and he was a fine fiddle player. And Bob and Jack played the guitar, and I played the guitar also, but I also played the bass and played the mandolin. Folk music, and back in those days, what we call Western music, drifting along with the tumbling tumbleweed, Utah Trail, Cowboy Jack, all that stuff. So that's kind of what we specialized in. As time went along, well then we became more interested in the more modern jazz and that sort of thing. And then when time allowed, well then I started playing in big bands and combos and such as that. And one of the radio stations we were on, it was at the same radio station, and another guy who is a pretty good guitar player, Les Paul, was on there, and Les Paul back in those days, his name was Rhubarb Red, but he was sure a fine engineer, as evidenced by the Les Paul guitar that he invented, and the electric guitar, if you will. And and he liked looking for arrowheads, and so he would come out to my grandfather's place and look for arrowheads. He delighted in finding those. I play in a couple of bands here at Shell Point. You know, Don Schneff is the leader for a group called Nostalgia, and Bill Johns heads up a group called the Jazz and Stuff that plays every Wednesday afternoon at the Woodlands. My grandfather had a manufacturing business, and he wanted out of it, so we kind of took it over and redesigned some of the products. The primary item was a hooked rug needle. It's a little shuttle device for making hooked rugs that my grandfather actually designed, a rather simple one in the early days. And then when we boys got together, well then we could see the opportunity for redesigning it and advertised it in all the major publications, radio, and even TV in later years. Gosh, we made woodworking tools, various items, and we like to have fun with our work, and we had been involved quite a bit with shooting a bow and arrow, and so naturally we tried to figure a way that we could enjoy doing that and make a dollar also. So that's how eventually the Black Widow bow came into existence. And then we had the equipment and we thought some knowledge about archery equipment itself, and we thought it could be improved to become more efficient and such as that. So we started working on it, experimenting with different designs. And you were looking for a vehicle that was highly efficient, that would propel the arrow with some force, but yet do it in a manner that it was smooth in your hand. So that's a pretty good challenge to store up all that energy and let it go. And we started out making what they call self bows. That's made out of just one piece of wood. And our specialty was that out of Osage orange, which is also called hedge and also called bodark. But Osage orange is the right name for it. And that comes from a gnarly tree, which I guess that characteristic is what gave it the advantage as far as becoming a good bow. It was resistant to heat, it was resistant to humidity, and highly efficient. Really good for the Midwest in the summers and for the South. Now, it's hard to find a 5 or 6 foot length of Osage orange that was straight enough that you could split it out and make a bow. But that's what we did. And then as the years went by, well then some of the epoxy adhesives were invented, and so we thought, well, if we could get that and make a dovetail joint and use that, well, then we wouldn't have to have a 6-foot stave. We could get 2 3-foots, and they were a lot easier to come by. So anyhow, that's what we did, and we sold those self bows for a few years, along with the arrows and all. The composite bow goes back a long ways, and even the recurve portion of it here, and there are a lot of factors in weight, in the width and the length, and that go into getting everything that you want from a bow. We did have some know-how on the various designs, and in particular when we got to the Black Widow bow, we'd experiment with fiberglass and carbon fibers and such as that, and some of the wood. In our shop that we actually had 2 shops, and one was filled with manufacturing equipment, you know, lathes, drills, planers, joiners, all that sort of stuff. And the other one was packaging and shipping and assembly and that. But in the manufacturing shop, right beside one of the doors, it was kind of a back door area and not used very much, was a spider web. And we kept watching that thing, and by gosh, it was a Black Widow spider. So the tendency was to get rid of that thing, you know, but actually it wasn't hurting anybody, and it was kind of interesting to watch, so we just let it be. And so when we came up with the design, and we were kind of searching around for a name, well, Bob selected, he suggested that we use Black Widow. Black Widow it is, so that's how it came about. We concluded that if we could go out and shoot pretty well and use our equipment, well, that might encourage people to try our bow. And so that's kind of what we did. We traveled the country, we participated in a lot of tournaments, and we won, you know, some state and regional, and won the national 3 times. So. I also want to mention the fact that archery is very much a family sport. There's the feminine side of archery and the children's side of archery, so the entire family can be active. All of our wives shot. Bob's wife was the Missouri State champion. My sister, Olive June Jennings, was the junior girls champion. And the point being is that people are looking for something for the family to do, and be outdoors. Take a look at archery. I think you'll like it. I think there comes a time in life when you recognize that we're all mortal, and we were living on a golf course. We both enjoyed playing golf and such as that, and so it also seemed to us that we should be looking ahead for some place so that we could enjoy being, and that could afford for us a lifestyle. So we started looking, and we looked at a number of facilities from north of Sarasota to Naples, and we saw some nice ones, you know. But Shell Point was in a league of its own, and the more we looked at it, the better we liked it, and it had everything that you could hope for in the way of things to do and interests and sociability and a golf course. So we decided to move here and have enjoyed it and never looked back. You know, we feel blessed being here at Shell Point with all these fine neighbors.
Okay, it's time to sit up straight for this next segment. Hey, wait a minute. How do you know when you're sitting up straight? Well, only your mirror image can truly show you. Your twin can give you a visual check in the mirror. For more on this lively, fun workshop, Heather Batty visited with group instructor Lindy Smith for a preview.
Hi, I'm Heather Batty with Resort Services, and today I'm here with a special guest. I am here with certified group instructor Lindy Smith.
Hello, Heather.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
My pleasure.
So we are here to discuss your upcoming Health Connection program, and it is Mirror Image Fitness.
Yes, it is.
Can you tell me about that?
In the past, we've tried to be a little bit different in our approach to posture and movement, and I came up with this idea. It was very well received last time, where people actually work out with their twin in the mirror.
I love that.
It worked out great because sometimes we think we're sitting up straight, but actually we're not, and by having our workout partner in the mirror to cue us, then we can make some tiny adjustments and get used to the way that feels. Plus there's some exercise moves that we do to deploy certain muscles that need to be activated for leading an upright life.
Sure, and when you're actually watching your twin in the mirror, you can actually see your movements to make sure that you're doing them correct.
Right.
So is this a seated or a standing workout?
Well, we start off seated, and I do bring a lot of props, plus you've got great equipment in the room, and then there is some standing up involved if the individual wants to.
Okay. And then so you're the whole class, you're facing your mirror twin, and you're instructing the class also being in front of them and showing your mirror image as well. How does that work?
You know, I can't give away my secrets.
Oh, okay.
But you're on to me is that basically we start off not looking at the mirror, and then we turn around. So there is a big surprise because people think that they're moving a certain way, and when we do turn around, they realize the difference right then and there. There's an instant recognition of what we can be doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you pointed out posture right away. I think that is certainly one of the first things to start happening is our posture starts to go until you actually pay attention and pull in your core and pull your shoulders back. Right. And I think that's important for all ages to be aware of.
All ages, especially active and not so active seniors, are being given computers and cell phones to keep up on Facebook and email with all their kids. And what I find is more and more of this, and it's an epidemic. Absolutely. And so what we do in this mirror image fitness is try to identify ways that we can control those muscles.
You know, you're right. You point out such a great thing. You know, everybody has their personal computers, their Kindles, iPhones. So we're constantly looking down. So we're always hunched over. I really think this class is going to be very well received, and it's certainly going to be helpful for all of our residents here. This Mirror Image Fitness, Here's Looking at You, is Tuesday, November 3rd. It's 9 a.m. at the Island Health Club, and it's only $8. What a great deal to be with our certified instructor here, Lindy Smith. So if you're interested, please call either service desk and sign up. Thank you so much, and thank you, Lindy, for joining me.
Thank you, Heather.
And stay happy and healthy.
And upright.
There's a celebration happening over at the Island Salon, and manager Robin Church told us about the fantastic November specials that they're offering in observance of their 10-year anniversary.
Hi, my name is Robin Church, and I'm the Salon and Spa Manager at Shell Point Salon and Spa. And today I'd like to just share with you some exciting specials we have in November to help celebrate our 10-year anniversary with all of you. One of the great specials is our specials for our facials. Our Collagen 90, if it's done in a series, which would be one a week for 5 weeks, the results are phenomenal. And if you do the series, you receive a free H5O cream or gel cream. And this would be over $100 value, free, for doing the series. Then we have the CC Spa, which if you do 4 of those, one a week for 4 weeks, you get a free Vital C plus peptide serum, which is fabulous on the skin. And for the algo facial, if you do 4 of those, 1 a week for 4 weeks, you receive a free Hydromucin Optimal Cream, which is a $62 value. So this is a great way to really perk up your skin, get some good hydration. They're all anti-aging. The algo is also soothing, great for rosacea skin or anyone that is a little more sensitive, which a lot of times people that are more sensitive, they are that way because they're dehydrated. Once we hydrate the skin the way it should be, they're not so sensitive anymore. So one of our skincare specialists can certainly analyze your skin and help determine which you are, whether you be sensitive or just sensitized because you're dehydrated. All of GM Collins is a cosmeceutical company, which we are FDA approved, which means that GM Collins products actually promote changes to the skin. FDA approval is only required when a product actually does make changes to the skin. Otherwise, they really don't need to be FDA approved. And a lot of the products in the drugstores are not FDA approved because they're really not making a change to the skin. They're just putting something on that outer layer. So if you'd like to make an appointment for these, just call the Island Salon. It's a great way, again, to really hydrate your skin and get some good home care, which is so important to promote the results and keep them going after you leave the salon. Thank you and have a great day.
It's Music in Motion as Shell Point presents the 13th annual concert series. To kick off the Fine and Performing Arts concerts, Dee Horn told us about the National Dance Company of Siberia that will take the stage at the Village Church Auditorium next Friday, November 6th. They're direct from Russia, and this spectacular show features stunning costumes, great choreography, precision dancing, and acrobatic strength. Here's Dee.
Hi, I'm Dee Horn. I'm a resident of Harbor Court and a friend of the arts. Music in Motion begins in November. Residents are encouraged to pick up the seasonal performance brochure and purchase your tickets at either the Island or Woodlands service desk, or go online at www.shellpoint.net/concerts. We start in November with the National Dance Company of Siberia on Friday, November 6th, 7:30 p.m. in the Village Church. Individual tickets are only $35 each, or save and buy the entire series and save $50. The proud people of Siberia have their own culture, literature, and art. And the National Dance Company of Siberia reveals the inspirational wealth of this nation as they express the wonderful nature of their land through choreography. The company was founded in 1960 and has been a success from the outset. The treasures of folk art performed in Siberian dancers are touched by the hand of artist Mikhail Godenko, a talented director and choreographer with creative imagination who founded the company and directed it until 1991. One of the most important elements in these scenic dances are the costumes. They combine vivid imagination with fine taste to help spectators imagine the world of Russia. The dance company's popularity is growing, having appeared in more than 60 countries and across the United States with their bright, energetic talent. Be sure to join me on Friday, November 6th, for the National Dance Company of Siberia. Thank you very much. I hope to see you at all the concerts this season.
And that's going to wrap things up for the weekend edition of Shell Point Today for October 30th, 31st, and November 1st. On behalf of everyone here at SBTV, we hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.